Hi everyone, and welcome back. I just wanted to make this short video today to offer a little bit more calculator help, particularly in part 6 of our notes, where we're working with sine, cosine, tangent. So we're thinking SOHCAHTOA, but I really want to focus on how the calculator works when we're working with the inverse of sine, cosine, tangent. When I made the other videos, I kind of just like Googled an online calculator. I've also provided a few for you to access on our website, and they're all just kind of different. And so it takes some thought to try to figure out where those inverse trig functions are. Remember, the inverse trig functions are the sine, cosine, tangent with the -1 attached to it. And the purpose of those functions are, when we use them correctly with some ratios of side lengths, we're able to figure out what an angle measure in a triangle might be. And that's really important. When we use the regular trig function, sine, cosine, tangent, without the -1, we can use that to figure out missing side lengths. So by using regular and the -1 versions, we can find side lengths and angle measures, which means we can solve these triangles. We can find whatever's missing. But again, when I introduced the solving for side lengths in the part 6 notes video, I didn't have a consistent calculator. And so I was saying, you guys need to hit second, and then you need to look for sine -1 or cosine -1. But on my screen, I was pushing a different button. I forget exactly what it was, but it wasn't a second button. And so now I've got a better calculator. It's actually the one that we use to model things in our classrooms. I can pull that up right here. Here it is right here. In blue above the sine, cosine, and tangent buttons, you should be able to see the sine -1, cosine -1, tangent -1. So again, all I want to do today is make this video where we solve, and I just want to do problem number 1 here. So we solve for the angle of R and T, and we use inverse trig to do that. And I just want to model it with a better calculator. And maybe a calculator you have, maybe a calculator you'll be getting in the near future. And so our consistency here should hopefully get a lot better. So let's just do it, and let's feel comfortable about solving for these angle measures. Just a reminder, it says find the acute angles. The reason is we have to base everything off of an angle in a triangle, and we never base it off the 90-degree angle. Obviously, that angle is important, but we don't create any ratios using it. And now that I look at these two problems, let's actually do number 2. And so in this one, we won't be using R, but we need to find T and we need to find C. And so let's go ahead and let's find T first. So remember, in all these sine, cosine, tangent problems, the trick is we need to identify opposite, which is across from our angle, hypotenuse, which is across from the 90, and adjacent. Now in this problem, we don't need the opposite because there's no information on that side. So we'll work with adjacent and hypotenuse because that's where we see an 8 and a 12. And so adjacent hypotenuse, that's the the piece. And so the cosine of that angle, cosine equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So the cosine of angle T equals 8 divided by 12. And remember, it's 8 divided by 12 because that's adjacent divided by hypotenuse. And then we just want angle T, and so we get what angle T equals when we do the inverse of this trig function with that ratio we just set up. So the inverse of cosine is the cosine -1. And then we know that when we use a calculator, they always give us a parentheses, and we have to write something in the parentheses. And what we want to write is that fraction. So 8 divided by 12 goes in our parentheses, and we close it. And so if we go to our calculator, and I'll change color now, but if we go to our calculator and type this in, that'll tell us what the measure of angle T is, which is exactly what we want. So let's go to the calculator, and we need cosine -1 of 8 divided by 12. Now, on this calculator, the first thing you'll need to remember, as with all calculators in this unit, is we need to be in degree mode. To get to degree mode on this calculator, you're going to want to hit the mode button. It's right next to second, so we hit mode. And then you can see the word degree is the third one down. Right now, radian is highlighted. We don't want radian, we want degree. So we'll just push down 3 times, and then we'll go to the right. Once you're highlighting degree, hit enter, and you are now in degree mode. So then we can go back to the next screen to get there. See this word quit up here? Let's hit second mode and it'll quit us out of that program. But now we're in the right degree mode, and so we're ready to go. Just one more reminder, what we want to type into our calculator is cosine inverse of 8 divided by 12, and that'll tell us what angle T is. So back to the calculator. To get cosine inverse, we'll see the cosine key, but the inverse is in blue up above. So we need to hit second, and then we'll hit the cosine, and the cosine inverse will pop up. And then we just want 8 divided by 12 inside there, close the parentheses, hit enter, and it tells us 48 point, and we'll round up to 48.2. So angle T is a 48.2 degree angle, and that's our answer. Perfect. Now let's clean up this triangle a little bit, and let's do the same thing, but let's do it based on angle C, and that'll get us angle C. So again, we start with opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Opposite of C is 8, hypotenuse is 12 still, never changes. Adjacent then is the blank side, which we don't need. And so to figure out this angle, angle C, we need to work with opposite and hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse is the sine function, the SO in SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse. So to set that up, we would do the sine of angle C is going to equal opposite divided by hypotenuse. So that's 8 divided by 12. And so this is the same ratio as before, but since we're using a different angle, cosine had to flip the sine. And then it's just a one-step process, right? We will get what angle C is if we do the opposite of sine, which is the sine inverse, so the sine -1, and we do it to that fraction of 8 divided by 12. And so, just like before, this is what we want to type into our calculator, sine inverse of 8 divided by 12. And whatever it gives us, as long as we're in degree mode, will be the answer to the degree measure of this angle, of angle C. So let's go back to the calculator, sine inverse of 8 divided by 12. So here's our sine key. We want the sine inverse, so we'll hit second and sine, and you'll see the sine -1, and then it's 8 divided by 12 again. Close the parentheses, hit enter, and you will see that is a 41.8 degree angle. 41.8. So we know angle C is 41.8 degrees, and that is our answer. And so angle T was 48.2, right down here. Angle C, 41.8. And this has been a video to hopefully give you a little bit more clarity of finding these angle measures and using a more consistent calculator. Thank you for all your hard work. As always, if this makes sense, great. If you still need more calculator guidance, please reach out to me, email me, ask a question or two. And just remember, I'm always here to support you. So whatever you need, please let me know and I'll do my best to give that to you. And I hope this calculator discussion helps. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.